Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Wendy Bertinelli and today we are going to be making this cute card, just the red flowers. So let's go over the supplies I will be using. I am using a size 6 Princeton Neptune brush and the size 4 Princeton round brush and a micron permanent pen in size 01. So and then I am also using the Mungyo palette. This has 48 colors. It's my favorite palette so far that I found. And then I also have my paint already mixed up. I'm using gouache in the middle and then the green and the red. So we're going to go through our supplies first. I'm just using an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, 9 by 12 Canson watercolor paper, and a sheet of red cardstock. We're going to go ahead and cut the cardstock in half at 5.5 inches to make 2 cards. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a stylus and we're going to turn that and mark it at 4 1/4, which is halfway. And I'm just going to take the stylus and go down the center line, which would be the line that we cut at. And then when you fold it, make sure that you fold in on that line. Don't turn your card over, just fold in on that line. Then we're going to go ahead and cut our cardstock. Now we want this to be a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch smaller on each edge because we just want to add, we want the white to border the red. So I'm going to cut that at 4 inches and then we're going to cut it by 5 1/4 inches. And you can see that that lays nice on the front with a 1/4 inch border around the edge. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my Canson Watercolor XL cold press paper. And I'm going to cut that at 3 3/4 of an inch because again we want that just to, the red just to border the watercolor paper. And then we'll cut it again at 5 inches. And then you can see that we have a nice red border all the way around. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the front message that we're going to put on there. So we're going to cut this piece at, we want it to be the exact same size as the watercolor paper, so 3 3/4 inch. And then we're going to cut this piece 1 3/4. And then we're going to cut the top part of that at 1 1/2 inches by 3 3/4. And it should be already 3 3/4 because we just took it off that paper that we just cut. And it looks like I just cut this just a 1/4 inch too big. So we're going to go back to 1 3/4 inch. And there we go. So now we have all of our pieces of our card prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and move all of this out of the way so we can get started with our watercolor. As you all know, I have not been watercoloring for very long, but I have been making cards for a very long time. So adding watercolor to my arsenal has been really, really fun. So today we're going to make these. We're going to use the gouache for highlights. This is the Winsor Newton white gouache. And then, as I said before, we're going to use the red and the green. We're going to use the size 6 and the size 2 brush. And we're going to start in the lower right hand corner with the green. And we're just going to make a semicircle in the corner. And this doesn't have to be perfect. And we just want that to dry pretty fast, so I'm just kind of getting all that excess paint off. Then we're going to turn it around and we're going to do the same thing in the opposite corner. And then we're going to turn it around and the other side should be dry now. I'm going to move that paint out of the way just so I don't get more green. So I'm rinsing off my brush. I have a jar for rinsing and a jar for clean water. You can't see that in the frame, but they are there. I'm going to go ahead and take my red and I'm going to start on the corner and I'm just going to point press and lift, and then I'm going to kind of turn. I want these to be kind of more rounded, so I am going to just push that paint back down and round those tops just a little bit more. Push the paint down to the bottom because I want the depth to be at the bottom. So press, point press and release, and again press that excess paint down to the bottom. I'm going to continue to do this all the way around, and I'm just spacing them right next to each other, and we're going to go back when these dry and place petals in the empty spots. Now we're done with that side, so we're going to go ahead and turn this around, do the same exact thing on the other side. As I was saying, I'm fairly new to watercolor, but I do enjoy it very, very much. I suffer with bipolar, as many of you know if you follow my channel or my podcast, Pointing Toward Hope. I talk pretty openly about it there, but watercoloring has been such a good therapy for me. I just love to watch the watercolor, just how it flows into the paper. It's very therapeutic for some reason. I just really like it. And I am brand new to YouTube. And I did try to start my YouTube channel when I was doing photography back several years ago, but just did not have the time to keep it up. So this has been a fun little project. Now we're going to go turn this around. We're going to go back and we're going to put those petals in between. And this does not have to be perfect. And I am a card maker by nature, like I said, or not by nature, but have been doing it for quite some time. And so I'm not worried about these petals being perfect because I'm going to go back and outline them and doodle with them. That is kind of the thing that I like to do. That's kind of my style. And so I have just learned as I've started to watercolor that that is what I like, is to doodle after I've done the watercoloring, and I'm just excited to see where that goes. And you know, how I progress in that. And so you can see I'm just going in between the petals, and then I just want to cover up all those empty spaces because we want the flower to look very full. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the card and do that again on the opposite side. And I think it's really good to sort of figure out your style and embrace it. We don't all have to be perfect in the things that we do. If we enjoy it, we should do it the way we want to do it. And that's part of being an artist, is learning to find your style, what makes you happy, and then just stick with that. Don't try to be like everybody else. So I'm just using that point press and kind of rounding that tip with the tip of my brush and all the way off the edge, because we want these flowers to just completely go off the edge. So now we're done with our flowers. I'm going to rinse my brush out, and then we're going to go ahead and move this paint out of the way. And we're going to, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and get my message prepared. Now I picked up this set of sentiment stamps from Amazon, so I will link that in the description, and we are just going to choose one. Although if you're making a set of cards, it's really nice to be able to use all of the paper and maybe do 3 or 4 at a time. So in this set, I'm just going to use that. I really like that Sending Happy Thoughts Your Way. So that's the one we're going to use today. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the Momento Ink Pad in Tuxedo Black. And I'm using a clear block. You can see mine's been used very much. It's quite inked up. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right in the middle, and then just make sure you just go straight down and straight up when you stamp. You don't want to rock your stamp at all, because that's when you get the corners. And there you go. Sending Happy Thoughts Your Way. So we're going to go ahead and tape that onto the cardstock with, this is just the AdTech crafter's tape. And I will link that in the description as well. And then we have our nice border. Just going to tape that down. That looks good. And that's ready to go. I'll go ahead and get the rest of my card ready. Just using that tape again. And now we're going to put that on there, leaving our 1/8 inch border all the way around. And now that's ready to go, and we'll set it aside. We're going to go back to our card is dry now. So our watercolor is dry now, so we can go ahead and start doodling, which is my favorite part. We're going to use that micron, the size 01 pen. And this is where it gets just really fun. You can kind of doodle on your card however you want. I'm just making a line meeting up, not even touching in the corners, just kind of going random squiggle lines. I really like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just, this is the stamen, so we're just going to kind of make that look a little more furry, if you will, and just put some dots in there just to make it look more like a stamen. And now I'm going to go ahead and outline each petal. And you could get you could really doodle this up if you wanted to. Doing a lot of detail. I'm just outlining the petals. Not too worried about getting too much detail or staying in the lines. That's what I love about it, is it's just fun. Go ahead and mimic that on the other side. And I just love this deep red color. It's just so bright and fun. And I could just see it brightening someone's day. And as you can see, my channel is, what I named it is Learn, Create, and Love. And the reason for that is because I'm teaching, so you're learning, and then you get to go and create it on your own. And then with these fun items that you create, you can give them as gifts and love on other people, which is so much fun. I just love gifting people cards, and you know, we don't really get cards in the mail like we used to. And so it's really nice to receive a card in the mail from somebody. I'm going to go ahead and take my size 2 brush, and we're just going to use a little bit of that gouache, and we're just going to make little highlights on the petals. Probably should have done that before the outline, but that's okay. Just making little highlight edges. And again, you could get as detailed as you want with this. And now our card is about ready to be put on the top of our card that's ready to go. So that gouache dries pretty fast, so I'm gonna go ahead and tape that up, line it up, just 1/4 inch border. So we have that red border. So isn't that cute? I just love that. So fun. And then we have our message all ready to go. This tape can be kind of tricky. The trick is you just press it down and then snap it to the side. Sometimes I forget. So we're just going to place that right in the center. Line it up with the white. And then we're going to go ahead and do some more doodling, because I just love to doodle. We're just going to make some stems and little leaves. And I like to usually work in odd numbers. It's more pleasing to the eye. So I'll usually try and put, if I'm doing random things like this, I'll usually try to put 3 or 5. And again, doodling, you can do whatever you want. We're gonna do those same lines that we did on the rest of the card. Just to kind of finish it off. And there you have it. There is our finished card. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today, and come back and see me again soon. Click and subscribe on the button so you'll know exactly when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys.